shapes and abnormal colors, that the unexpected in ordinary places. The paintings were like falling into a dream, and everything you know was presented in an unfamiliar way. Anything is possible in this lush rabbit hole that is a mirror portrait. You would have given to me all of these permutations of dreams will patrol this lovely wasteland of color at sea. I stood before two larger-than-life paintings leaning against one of the walls. Both were of a man kissing a woman's neck. Both identical but colored radically different. One was shot through the reds and the purples. It was bright, ugly, comical. The other one was dark blue lavender, hard to read, understated, and lovely. It reminded me of kissing Grace in the bookstore and how she felt my arms, warm and real. When you do you like her mom's voice sounded bright and approachable. I imagined it as her gallery voice. This one she used to lure viewers' wallets into sight so that she could shoot them. I tilted my head towards the blue one. No contest, really. She said, and you're really surprised. No one has ever said that before. That one's much more popular. She stepped into my view so that I could see that she was pointing at the red one. I've sold hundreds of prints of it. It's very pretty, I said kindly, and she laughed. It's hideous. Do you know what they're called? She pointed out. To the blue one and the red one, love and lust. I smiled at her. Guess I failed my testosterone test, didn't I? Because you choose love. I don't think so. That's just me. Grace told me it was stupid of me to paint the same thing twice. She said his eyes are too close together in both of them anyway. I grinned. Sounded like something she would say, but she's not an artist. Her mouth twisted into a rueful shape. No, she's very practical. I don't know where she got that from. I walked slowly to the next set of painting wildlife, walking through clothing racks, deer perched on a high-rise window, fish peering up through storm drains. That disappoints you. Oh no, Grace is just Grace, and you have to take her the way she is. She hung back, letting me look. Years of good self-training and subconscious practice, and I hope she'll have an easier time in life because she'll get a nice normal job and be good and stable. I didn't look at her when I answered. Methinks the mom doth protest too much. I heard her sigh. I guess everyone wants their kids to turn out like them. All Grace cares about is numbers and books and all the way things works. It's hard for me to understand her and vice versa. Yes, but you're an artist, aren't you? You must be, I shrugged. I noticed a guitar case sitting close to the door on her studio, and I was itching to find chords for some tunes. In my head, not with paint, I play a little guitar. There was a long pause as she watched me looking at the painting of the fox peering out from beneath the parked car, and then she said, do you wear contacts? I'd been asked that question so many times that I don't even wonder anymore, or how much nerve it had taken to ask it. Nope. I'm having terrible what? Right? I'm having a terrible painter's block right now. I would like to do a quick study of you. She laughed. It was a very self-conscious sound. That's why I was ogling you downstairs. I just thought it would make it amazing color. Your black hair and your eyes, you remind me of the wolves in our woods. Did Grace tell you about them? My body stiffened. It felt so close, like she was prying. Especially after the run-in with Olivia, my immediately wolf-ish instincts was to bolt, tear downstairs, and rip open the door and melt into the safety of the trees. It took me several long moments to battle the desire to run and convince myself that she couldn't possibly know and that I was reading too much into her words. Another long moment to realize that I'd been standing right too long, not saying anything. Oh, I don't mean to make it awkward for you. Her words stumbled over each other. You don't have to sit for me. I know some people feel really self-conscious, and you probably want to get back downstairs to Grace. I felt obliged to make up for my rudeness. No, that's okay. I mean, I do feel sort of self-conscious about it. Can I do something while you paint me? I mean, so I don't have to sit and stare off to space. She literally ran over to her easel. No, of course not. Why don't you play guitar? Oh, this is going to be great. Thank you. You can just sit over there under those lights while I retrieve the guitar case. She ran across her studio several times, getting a chair for me, adjusting the spotlights and draping a yellow shade of reflection golden light on one side of my face. Do I have to try and stay still? She waved a paintbrush at me as if to answer my question. Then she propped a new canvas against her easel and squeezed the black paint under the mallet. No, just play away. So I turned the guitar and I sat there in the golden light and played songs under my breath, thinking of all the times I sat on Ben's couch and played the songs for the back, humbling in the guitar with me, singing harmonies in the background. I heard the scrape with the palette knife, the wolf with the brush on the canvas. Wonder what she was doing with my face while I wasn't paying attention. I can't hear you, Mommy, she said. Do you sing? I grunted, still finger picking idly. Her brush never ceased to exist. Are those your songs? Yep. Have you ever written one for Grace? I she showed me anyway. Her belly was lumpy with scar tissue and that disappeared under her bra. It looked like a hamburger after they bit me. I didn't want to know. Shelby didn't put her shirt back down. It must be hell when we kill something. We must be the worst way to die. Chapter 37. Sam, 42 degrees Fahrenheit. A riot of sensation assaulted me as soon as I got into the living room. Viciously cold air stung my eyes and twisted my stomach. My eyes quickly found the ragged hole in the door in the back door, partially cracked glass hung precariously in the frame, and then pink-stained shards lay all over the floor, wrinkling light back up at me. The chair at the breakfast nook was knocked over. It looked like someone had splattered red paint on the floor. Endless erratic shapes dropped and smeared from the kitchen floor. Then I felt me for a moment. I stood there, frozen by the absence of Grace and frigid air and the stench of blood and wet fur. Sam, it had to be Grace, so her voice sounded strange and unrecognizable. Someone pretending to be Grace. I scrambled, slipping in the spots of blood, gripping the door jamb to pull myself into the kitchen. The scene was surreal in the pleasant light of the kitchen. Bloody paw prints pointed to the direction. One me shook and twisted. Grace pinned up to the covers. Grace was struggling, kicking, but Shelby was massive and reeked of adrenaline. I saw him lash and pain Grace's eyes honestly and wide before Shelby jerked her body away. I'd seen this image before. I didn't feel the cold anymore. I saw an iron skillet sitting on the stove and I grabbed it. My arm ached with the weight of it. I didn't want to hit Grace. I smashed it onto Shelby's hip. Shelby snarled back at me. Together, we didn't have to speak the same language to know that she was telling me to stay back. An image filled my field of vision, clear, perfect, riveting. Grace lying on the kitchen floor, flopping, dying while Shelby watched. I was paralyzed by this glimpse. It dropped into my thoughts. This is how it must have felt when I showed Grace the image of the golden wood. It felt like a razor-sharp memory, a memory of Grace grasping for her. I dropped my skill and threw myself at Shelby. I found her muzzle where she was clamped onto Grace's arm, and I fell back to her jaw, pressing the fingers into her skin. I jammed upward into her windpipe until Shelby yelped. Her grip loosened enough for me to push off the cabinet, and with my feet roll her off Grace. We scrambled across the floor, her nails clicking, scraping on the tile, my shoes squeaking and slipping in the blood she dripped. She snarled beneath me, furious, snapping at my face, but stopping short. Reminding me of the image of Grace. The floor just kept going through my head, and I remembered snapping chicken bones. In my mind, I could see perfectly what it would look like to kill Shelby. She jerked away from me, had my hands as if she could read my thoughts. Dad, no, watch out, Grace shouted. A gun exploded close by. For a brief moment, I was still, not really still. It sort of just danced and shimmered in place. The lights flickered and dimming before reappearing. In that moment, that had been real things. It would have been a butterfly flapping and fluttering into the sun. Shelby fell on my grip, dead weight, and I fell back into the cabinets behind me. She was dead, or at least close, because she was drinking. But all I could seem to see was all I could seem to think about how I'd made a mess on the kitchen floor. I just stared at the white squares of linoleum, my eyes following the streaky lines of my shoes that had made the blood, and finding the one paw print in the center of the kitchen that had suddenly been perfectly preserved. I couldn't figure out. I could smell blood so strongly, and then I looked down at my own shaky arms and saw the red smeared on my blood and all over my wrists. I had to struggle to remember that it was Shelby's blood. She was dead. This was her blood, not mine. Hers. My parents counted backwards slowly, and blood welled up from my veins, and I was going to throw up. We have to move him. The girl's voice was piercingly loud inside hospital, I would say that by virtue of you not acting parental up until this point, you've relinquished your ability to wield any power now. Sam and I are together. That's not an option. Mom threw her hands up as if trying to stop the gray stain from running her over. Okay, fine, just be careful. Okay, whatever. I'm going to go get a drink. And just like that, our parental energies were expanded. She had played mom by driving us to the hospital, watching the nurse tend to my wounds, and warning me off of my psychotic boyfriend. And now she was done. It was obvious I was going to live, so she was off duty a few minutes late after she left the door open and Sam came inside. My man looking pale and tired under the greenish light. Tired but human. What did they do to you? I asked. His mouth quirked into a smile, complete without humor. It gave me a bad fright cut. That has healed since they put it on. What did you tell her? He glanced around for my mom. I told her about your parents and said that's what's wrong with you. She believed me. It's cool. Are you alright? Are you? I wasn't sure what I was asking. Finally I said, Dad said she was dead. Shelby, I guess she couldn't heal like you did. It was too fast. Sam laid his palm on my neck and kissed me. He pressed his forehead against mine so that we were staring at each other and it looked like he only had one eye. I'm going to hell. What? He blinked at me, feeling bad about her, feeling dead, being dead. I pulled back so I could see his expression. It was strangely empty. I wasn't sure what to say in that light of information, but Sam saved me by taking my hands, squeezing them tightly. I know I should be upset right now, but I just feel like I just dodged this huge missile and didn't change her alright. And for a moment, she's the one less thing for me to worry about. I felt drunk. Mom thinks you're damaged goods, I told him. Sam kissed me again, closed his eyes for a moment, then kissed me a third time lightly. I am. Do you want me to? Do you want to run away? I didn't know if he meant from the hospital or from him. Mr. Roth, the nurse, appeared in the door. You can stay in here, but you should sit down for this. Like me, Sam had to get a series of rabies shots. Standard hospital procedure provoked animal attacks. It wasn't like he could tell the staff that Sam knew the animal personally. And then Sam had been homicidal, not rapid. I shuffled over to make room for Sam, who sat beside me with an uneasy glance toward the nurse's hand. Don't look at the needle, the nurse advised as she pushed up the bloody sleeve with her other gloved hand. Sam looked away to my face, but his eyes were distant. I'm looking somewhere else, and there stuck a needle into his skin. As I watched her depress the syringe, I fantasized that was a cure for Sam. Liquid summer injection ran into his vein. There was a knock on the door, and another nurse stuck her face in. Brenda, are you done? 302, there's this girl going crazy in there. Oh, wonderful, Brenda said with deep sarcasm. You two are done to me, she said. I'll get your paperwork to your mom when I'm done. Thanks, Sam said, and took my hand. Together we walked down the hall. For a strange moment, it felt like the first night that we had met. Like no time had passed at all. Wait, I said, as we passed through the emergency waiting area, and Sam let me pull him to a hall. I squinted across the busy room, but a woman that I thought I'd seen was gone. Who are you looking for? I thought I saw Olivia's mom. I squinted across the waiting room, but there was only unfamiliar faces. I saw Sam familiar, and his eyebrows draw a little closer to his eyes, but he didn't say anything as we made our way to the hospital door. Outside, Mom had already pulled the car up to the curb, not knowing what a favor she had to present me on the car. The cold them delicately embodied. Sam's eyes were on the trees on the other side of the parking lot, barely visible in the streetlights. I wondered if he was thinking about the deadly chill that seeped through the cracks of the door, that Shelby's body that would never meet human again, or if, like me, he was still thinking about the imaginary syringe full of liquid summer. We can get another two chapters in. Chapter 39, Sam, 42 degrees. My patchwork life, quiet Sunday, coffee on Grace's breath, the unfamiliar landscape on the lumpy news car on my arm, the dangerous smell of snow. In the air, two different worlds clinging to each other, getting closer and closer and heading together in ways I'd never imagined. My dear, during the day before it still hung over me, the dusky memory of wolf order caught my hair and the tips of my fingers. It would have been so easy to give in, even now. 24 hours later, I felt like my body was still fighting it. I was so tired, I tried to close my eyes. Curled in a squatchy leather chair, I've dozing ever since the evening temperatures had begun to pinch sharply downward in the last few days we'd been spending. Our family, our free time, in her father's largely unused study other than her bedroom. The warm and leaf dress we placed in the house. I liked the room. The walls were lined with dark spine way she sat, I had bent into stubborn concentration, held my attention in a way that my book didn't. I realized Grace's pen had moved a long way. I asked, "What are you thinking about?" She spun the desk chair around to face me and tapped her pen on her lip. It was a gesture that made me want to kiss her, wash her, and dry her. I was thinking about when I moved out later, I have to use the laundromat or buy a washer and dryer. I just looked at her, equal parts entrance and horrified by this strange look into the workings of her mind. That is what's distracting you from your homework. I was not distracted. Grace said stiffly. I was giving myself a break from reading this stupid short story for English. She whirled back around and leaned back over the desk. This was quiet for several long moments. She didn't put the pen to paper. Finally, without lifting her head, she said, "Do you think they're secure?" I closed my eyes and sighed. "Oh, Grace," Grace persisted. "Tell me, answer some magic." "What are you? Doesn't matter." "Of course," she said, and her voice frustrated. "Magic would be intangible. Science has cures. Haven't you ever wondered how it all started?" I didn't open my eyes. One day a wolf bit a man and the man caught it. Magic or science is all the same thing. The only thing of magic about it is that we can't explain it. Grace didn't say anything more, but I did feel her disquiet. I sat there silently, hiding behind my book, knowing that she needed words from me, words I wasn't willing to give. I wasn't sure which of us was being more selfish, or for wanting something that no one could promise for me, for not promising her something that was too painfully impossible to want. Before either of us could break the uneasy silence, the door of the study pushed open and her father came in. His wire frames fogged when the temperature changed. He scanned the room, taking in the changes we'd made to it. The underused guitar from her mother's studio leaning against my chair, the pile of tattered paperbacks on the side table, the neat stack of sharpened pencils on his desk. His eyes lingered on the coffee maker Grace had bought in to satisfy her caffeine cravings. He seemed fascinated by it, as I had been. A child-sized coffee maker for toddlers who needed a quick pick-me-up. "We're home. Have you guys taken over my room?" "It was being neglected," Grace said without looking up from her homework. "It was too useful to let it go to waste, and now you can have it back." "Obviously," he observed. He looked at me, sunk into his chair. "What are you reading?" I said, "Bel Canto. I've never heard about it. What's it about?" He squinted at the cover. I held it out so he could see it. Opera singers and chopping onions and guns. To my surprise, her father's expression cleared and filled with understanding. Sounds like something Grace's mother would read. Grace turned around in the desk. "Dad, what did you do with the body?" He blinked. "What?" "After you shot it, what did you do with the body?" "Oh, I put it on the deck." And what?" Grace put. "Oh, I exasperated. And what did you do with it after?" "I know you didn't want to leave it to rot on the deck." A slow, sick feeling was beginning to knot the bottom of my stomach. "Grace, why is this such an issue? I'm sure Mom took care of it." Grace raised her finger to her forehead. "Dad, how can you think that Mom moved it? She was with us at the hospital." I didn't really think about it. I was going to call animal control to pick it up, but it was gone the next morning, so I thought when you called them. Grace made a little strangled noise. "Dad, Mom can't even call to order pizza. How would she call animal control?" Her father shrugged and stirred his soup. "Stranger things have happened. It's not worth getting worked up about anyway." "So it was dragged off the deck by a wild animal. I don't think other animals can catch rabies from a dead animal." Grace just crossed her arms and glared at him, as if this comment was just too stupid to dignify with a response. "Don't sulk," he said, and pushed the door farther open when he shouldered to leave. "It's not becoming." Her voice was cold. "I have to take care of everything myself." He smiled at her fondly, somehow reducing the value of her anger. "We'd be lost without you, obviously. Don't stay up too late." The front door softly clicked shut behind him, and Grace stared at the bookshelves. I closed the door. Anything but my face. I closed my novel without noting the page. "She's not dead. Mom might have called animal control." Grace said to the desk, "Your mom didn't call animal control. Shelby's alive." "Sam, shut up, please. We don't know. One of the other wolves could have dragged her body off the dead." No jump to conclusions. She looked at me finally, and I saw that Grace, despite her complete inability to read people, had puzzled out what Shelby was to me. My mask clawing at me, trying to steal me even before winter did. I felt like things were getting away from me. I'd found heaven and grabbed it as tightly as it could, but it was unraveling. An insubstantial thread sliding between my fingers, too fine to hold. Chapter 40. Sam, 58 degrees. And so I looked for them. Every day that Grace was at school, I searched for them. The two wolves I didn't trust, the ones who were supposed to be dead. Mercy Falls was small. Boundary Wood was not as small, but more familiar and maybe more willing to give up its secrets. I would find Shelby and Jack, and I'd confront them on my own terms, but Shelby had left no trail off the deck, so maybe she really was gone. Jack was nowhere. A dead cold trail, a ghost that left no course behind. It felt like I had combed the entire country for signs of him. I